Alright, hello everyone. I'm the Old Deng Crush 83.0. Suggestions for debugging and some modifications. That's really a suggestion, just for everyone's reference. Old Deng may not be right. First, technology is still evolving. There might be better materials for attracting attention and so on. Once we have it, we'll update it. For example, 3.13.23.3 will be updated and corrected to version 3.0. Also, what the old lamp said might not be correct. Not necessarily correct. If you notice that Lao Deng is wrong, in the comments section, or rather, Banmu helps Old Deng testify. Old lamps will go and fix them. And when he recognized his mistakes, he would surely correct them. Now, let's get back to this keyboard. Let's first talk about the difference between the original factory reinterpretation and the original manufacturer. Basically, it's mainly a Snowtop Coco axis. And there's also something called the Dual Desire axis. The positioning plate is PPFR 34, mainly distinguishing these two aspects. So the original factory's reversion is actually more toward the Choi-Seong. This is the direction of the emerald shaft. The cross-shape switch has been modified to a mute switch, but the original factory condition is that the compatible Choi switches are fine. Then the silent shaft is fine. Sound shafts are this type. The switches crackle and click, and the gaming switches work fine too. The original factory plan might change the switch to a muted shaft. It can only produce that muffled sound quality. It won't produce a dull or dull sound quality. The dull and moist scale is that's what the old owner said. No problem. I'm absolutely right. This one won't change. And this is the original factory solution. If you want to change the Jade switch to a gaming switch, switch to a mute switch, modify that shaft crackling sound. Then basically no need to modify the original factory sound pack, including its positioning plate, which is not mandatory to move. If it's a game switch, those are definitely the game switches and the Jade switch. That is definitely better with the FR4. It's harder, and then the sound will be louder and louder. Then the portability is even better. This is the original factory's solution. But if it's inherently suitable, the innate compatibility is the game switch, and the emerald switch. These two are the most compatible with his current innate conditions. Now, let's talk about the optimization direction. If you want to change the dull switch to mahjong sounds, the inner liner can have an extra layer of bottom film, which is acceptable. Then switch to a thicker seat pad, a slightly thicker padding. For example, 1mm or 1.5mm ones, which are a bit thicker than those ones. Then 2 rows of rice should be enough. A bit thicker. Axle seats, nothing else is needed. Then switch to another one. You want to use the PPPP positioning board, or replace it with a POL positioning board. Then the previous Monopoly switch. The previous PBT shoulder was over 1.5mm thick. The shoulders are basically a sign of a dull axis. For extreme crispiness, it's a fixed stabilizer. Then you can use R24 as well, extremely crispy. Then use the cotton shaft for the sandwich, including the part called U. If it's called Pet Demon, just play directly. Uncrowned ones are also fine. That is, the voice of Wu Mian will be louder, because it lacks many materials that absorb sound and block sound. As for the game switches, there's actually not much to change. Then just switch to the game switch. I don't really recommend the carbon fiber positioning version for the old lamp. The old lantern will make comparisons later. For carbon fiber positioning boards, the sound is rather dispersed. So, how do you say the old lamp is subjectively judging the sound of carbon fiber and the sound of FR4? Older speakers may find the FR4's sound better. Then the sound is better than carbon fiber. This is the game that is extremely noisy. That's exactly the kind of axle it is. Then remove all the inner straps, which are very thought-provoking. That oil film is on the undershaft changer. Then, remove the bottom cotton film and the shaft cushion cotton. And then, just play with this one. This is the loudest sound solution. If you want to be quiet, the best choice is still the PP positioning version. And that's because he is. You can think of it this way. The softer it is, the muffled the sound. And then, if it's soft, the force at the bottom isn't as strong. But the pivot bottoming force isn't as strong. His voice will become quieter. So if you want ultimate quietness, then it's POM or PP. Then there's the extreme slotting, which is a solution for silent sound. As for debugging this keyboard is a bit odd, because the old lamp had previously worked on several Q2080s. All the major keys on this keyboard have been tinkered with for ages. This keyboard took about 5 hours to modify. It took almost 5 hours to change. This is a strict requirement Lao Deng has set for himself. I will try my best to fix every keyboard, because there are quite a few people watching the old lamp now. Of course, there are many issues, so let's pick them out. This is about debugging. I won't cover this in the old man's video. The series of 123,456 for debugging large parts has now been updated to version 6.0. Old lanterns will gradually update them. If you encounter any problems, feel free to leave a comment. If Lao Deng has dealt with this kind of problem and has experience, I will tell everyone. This is for debugging, and there are currently no details to consider. This is because old lamps aren't good at recording or video reduction. Later, when old lamps don't need to build so many keyboards, I tried every possible way to showcase more details. And finally, this keyboard. How should I put it? Actually, I don't really recommend modifying this sword gate. If you like the design of the Crash 80, then I prefer the crisp, original Pebble sound. Replacing the axle will bring a noticeable improvement. As for the shoulder cap, everyone prefers it, so let's adjust it a bit. Basically, you don't need to touch anything else. I just like it crispy, and I like this design. Then, switch to a more user-friendly switch. Switch to a shoulder cap you like and do some adjustments. Basically, just these 3 steps will make a handful, which sounds great. A very user-friendly cross-shaped keyboard, including this keyboard, is based on his current innate conditions. Brittle or painted switches are easy to use. Others might be better than some secondary options. So, some suggestions for tuning and modifying this keyboard. That's all for now because Lao Deng really doesn't know how to make videos yet. I can't do editing, but later I can shoot videos and edit videos. I won't just stick stickers one by one for everyone. Finally, here's a summary for convenience. You might just ask for what you need. Alright, as always, this is just some of Lao Deng's experience. It may not be helpful if there are better ways or methods. Feel free to share your thoughts. Our shared purpose is for us. The power switch in my hand is even more useful and sounds better. Alright, see you in the next video.